Okay, get a load of this. You are not going to believe what Brian Tyler Cohen, leftist, statist, Democrat propagandist Brian Tyler Cohen actually admitted. Before we talk about that, I have long said on this channel and a lot of my other channels that no longer exist for some reason, that fake stream CIA infiltrated Operation Mockingbird MK Ultra Media is the propaganda arm for the military industrial complex. It is clear to see. It was especially clear to see back in September of 2001. And, you know, all the skirmishes and wars since then, they actually are beholden to the defense contractors and the military industrial complex. But listen to Brian Tyler Cohen actually admit that the rightist propaganda machine is better than their leftist propaganda machine. And according to Brian Tyler Cohen, we need to hone our craft and acquire a better, more thorough, incessant propaganda machine. Listen to this.
Okay, so this is not the video that I wanted to be making today. I know a lot of you right now are scared and despairing and confused and exhausted. That's okay, you're right to feel.
If you are to the point where politics is bothering your psyche so deep that you're worried and scared and in despair, you need to get a life. You need to understand what's actually going on in the world and that they want to inject fear in you. The rightist propaganda campaign, the leftist propaganda campaign, they all work for the same team banking owners, okay? Do not let them scare you. Fear is what they feed on. And when you're fearful, you make mistakes and you do stupid things like you obey mainstream media and Team MAGA and Team Democrat. And you go out there and demoralize and dehumanize yourself by voting for people you know are parasitic, psychopathic puppets that people like Brian Tyler Cohen and on this side and Matt Walsh and Ben Shapiro, Midas Touch on the left, they're all telling you got to get out to vote. This is the most important election of our lifetime. If Donald Trump doesn't get in, democracy dies. Kamala Harris is like the biggest existential threat to democracy is Donald J. Trump. And they get you in this team red, team blue as they trap you into and tap into the tribal mentality that you have. And Brian Tyler Cohen is no different. Let me show you how, maybe you don't know who this guy is. Let me give you some stats and numbers on this guy. He averages over 5.3 million views a day just on YouTube, and he has other outlets. He's averaging a weekly average in view count of 37 million views, 159, almost 160 million views a month. This guy just in Google AdSense is raking in probably $25,000 to $40,000 per day. That's Brian Tyler Cohen. He gets more views than CNN gets. This one guy speaking on his YouTube channel somewhere in his house. And he's appeared on Piers Morgan. People like this, people who sell out to the leftist propagandists or the rightist propagandists and the social engineers and the psychological operators, they're the ones who are going to be pushed in the algorithm. That's why it's important to go over these people, and that's why it's important to expose what they're saying. Listen to this. He ain't even warmed up yet.
Feel that way. I know pretty much all of us were shocked by the results. We're obviously going to spend the next few days and weeks and months, I'm sure, autopsying what happened.
Licking our wounds. God, man, this is pathetic. This is pathetic.
And there's going to be the usual finger pointing from people who are going to say that they knew better. But to be honest, I think that the Harris campaign did run the best campaign they could have possibly run, given the circumstances. I also think that more broadly, there are a lot of massive structural disadvantages that Democrats are contending with right now that, in retrospect, made winning this election very difficult. First and foremost, something that I've been beating the drum about for years now, the right has a propaganda machine at its disposal that hums on for 24 hours a day on TV and radio and TikTok and Facebook and YouTube and Rumble and Discord servers everywhere that pump out right-wing propaganda.
Let me just go to the transcript here and tell you what he just said again. He says that the Democrats are contending right now with that retrospect waning. Let's see. He says that the right, he's been banging the drum for years now, that the right has a propaganda machine at its disposal that hums on for 24 hours a day on TV and radio and TikTok and Facebook and YouTube and Rumble and Discord servers everywhere that pump out right-wing propaganda on an endless loop. Now he's going to talk about the top 20 podcasts in America, and he's bemoaning the fact that the left doesn't have that kind of incessant 24-hour a day, 7-day a week propaganda machine amped up.
On an endless loop. The top 20 podcasts in America include Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson, Theo Von, Dan Bongino, Candace Owens, Megyn Kelly, and Ben Shapiro. You know who we've got on the left on that list? The Daily and Pod Save America. All the while, Democrats continue, for some fucking reason unbeknownst to me, to pretend that mainstream media is some partner in democracy, that they're on our team.
They're not pretending that mainstream media is a partner in democracy. They are. Democrats and the DNC are part of that machine, that corporate machine, just as the RNC is. The DNC is part of the corporate machine and is in fact a corporation. The RNC is part of the corporate machine and is in fact a corporation. And he knows it. This Brian Tyler Cohen guy and Midas Touch and Adam Mockler and all these people on the left and all the people on the right, they know it's a corporate game. It's a corporate shell game, and they're making bank. They're on the gravy train of the corporate shell game, and they ain't going to get off anytime soon, because that's how they make their name. And when they make their name like that, that's how they're making all their money. And when they're making that kind of money, don't count on them ever coming to the knowledge of or ferreting out or presenting the truth to anyone, ever.
I don't know how much clearer I can say this. They are not on our team. Corporate media exists to serve its shareholders. It is
our team. Our team. You know what the team should be? It should be Team Humanity. Hey, Team Humanity, wake up. It's propaganda. It's all a dog and pony show. There are people behind the curtain pulling the levers and pushing the buttons in this psychopathic political charade that you call politics.
Is a business before it's anything else, certainly before it's some protector of democracy. And yet still, our side has decided that when there's a big interview, go to mainstream media. When there's news, give it to mainstream media. Let's keep validating the same outlets that continuously undermine us at every single turn. Sometimes I have to beg politicians for interviews for my channel for months and months and months and months, and still don't even hear back.
He's about to say it.
They'll fall over themselves to go talk to the New York Times. The same outlet that ran, 60 cover stories about Hillary's emails? That's who they need to confer more validation onto? That's who they need to reward with their time, with eyeballs? We desperately need a left-wing media ecosystem that rivals what they have on the right. And we
listen very closely. We desperately need a left-wing media ecosystem that rivals what they have on the right. And what did he just say they have on the right? They have a 24-hour a day, 7-day a week propaganda machine. Brian Tyler Cohen is saying we need the same kind of propaganda machine, only for leftist statism. The rightist statists have their propaganda machine, and we need ours, because they constantly talk about it. Have you noticed Kamala Harris is running a campaign? Donald Trump is running a campaign. Republicans and Democrats are running a campaign. It's a campaign, and it's kind of like, it's a military concept. They're running an operation against you, trying to get you to believe that if you vote for me, I'm going to make your life better. Kamala Harris says, if you vote for me, I'm going to give you all this stuff. Donald Trump says, if you vote for me, I'm going to make your nation secure, and we're going to strengthen up the dollar, and we're going to produce our own energy. Do you really believe them? First of all, they're psychopathic political parasites, and they're liars. They are known liars, all of them. Do you really trust them when they make a promise to you? Is that how childish we've become?
We desperately need our politicians and thought leaders to embrace that idea. The fact that they don't means that we will continue to lose people other than the same couple of million people who tune into mainstream media every day. People who, by the way, are already Democratic voters, already high information voters, and don't need any more persuading.
Wait, the people that mainstream media has snagged is a Democratic high information voter? If they're so high information, then why don't they see what you just said, that it's a propaganda arm for corporate interests.
It's not where the persuadable people are. Find people where they are. And until we do, we will keep losing to the right.
Find people where they are and do what? Run a campaign against them. They're always talking about these strategies. We got to get people on board. We got to get all these people. And what are they getting them on board of? Leftist statism or rightist statism. And they will never tell you that the bankers run both. The corporate oligarchs run both, the DNC and the RNC. For years now, Brian Tyler Cohen has been on and has gotten more and more popular as he's trying to funnel you into the Democratic corporate machine that he's right now railing against. This is hypocrisy, Brian. Why don't you invite me on your show? You'll go on Piers Morgan's show. You'll have people on your show. You'll have, Pete Buttigieg come on your show. Why don't you invite somebody like me or Whitney Webb who are actually going to press you against the wall for your frickin' hypocrisy? You, Brian, are just as hypocritical as anybody that you would identify on the right, because every ounce, every nanoparticle of criticism you lob over on their side of the fence could easily bounce off of their trampoline and come and hit you square in the eyes.
The other barrier that we face in this election is that we are more broadly in a period of global high inflation that came about after COVID. And while some of us, are privileged enough to be able to say that our top issues in this election are democracy and climate change, things like that, for most people in this country, people who, by the way, can't afford a $400 emergency, the cost of stuff going up in the grocery store was their top priority. And when you're mad, you blame the people in charge. And the people in charge right now are the Democrats. For a lot of people out there, it's as simple as that. And that is
happening. The people in charge aren't the Democrats, not Joe Biden, it's not Kamala Harris. The people who are going to be in charge in 74, 75 days is not going to be J.D. Vance and Donald Trump. It's going to be Palantir. It's going to be the people who own Elon Musk. It's going to be people who issue the amount and the value of your fiat currency. That's where inflation comes from, Brian. That's how prices get high, because of the Federal Reserve, but you'll never talk about that. You'll only talk about the smokescreen fiction of the political theater.
Happened across the world. In France, Marine Le Pen basically neutered Macron. It happened to Sunak in the UK. Modi lost his majority in India, South Africa, Senegal. This was a miserable environment for incumbents, not just here in the US, but across the entire planet. And I know there's a lot of talk about, was it the right move to put Kamala in? Could Joe Biden have won? Should there have been a primary instead when he dropped out? Should Biden have just announced that he wouldn't run again immediately after winning?
I'm going to speed this nonsense up to 1.25 so we can get through this.
Morning quarterback this thing until we're blue in the face. But the reality is that I don't know if the best candidate on the face of the earth could have won in this political environment. Kamala ran a great campaign. Donald Trump ran a fucking miserable campaign. Dude literally suggested that Nancy Pelosi was a bitch. What, the day before Election Day?
Wait a minute. You mean she's not? You mean people who actually know what's going on and know the score and know what kind of person she is and how much money she's accumulated in her time in her office and her public political position? You mean she's not, Brian? Why can't we just tell the truth? I mean, Donald Trump is just telling the truth on that, right? Maybe certain amounts of truth actually poke through the darkness, the dark veil of political nonsense, and people grab onto it and they're like, you know what? That's right. Thank you for telling it like it is. Forget decorum. Let's just lay all the cards on the table, which I'm not saying Donald Trump does, because he's just as much of a charlatan banker puppet as Biden or Harris.
His campaign trotted out a comedian that told Puerto Ricans their island was garbage and he needed to be able to reach out to Latinos. But the reality is that Democrats are in power and they were going to be punished by people looking to punish those who are in power, just like they're doing across the entire world. That is the environment that we're in right now. So look, we're going to have days and weeks and months of autopsying here to figure out what went wrong. We're going to make changes. I'll probably figure out what changes I can make.
You know what's going wrong with America, Brian? What's going wrong with America is people like you who are just freaking selling their souls to make bank, to promote the nasty, incessant political propaganda that we see. You are one of the clowns in the circus with this you're just looking for a new juggling act. Maybe I'll do knives or chainsaws next time and just kind of shake things up. But you're going to be doing the same thing. You're going to be funneling people into the DNC, which you already said, it's basically a corporate oligarchy machine, just like fake stream media. Same thing with the RNC. Everybody's doing the same thing on both sides. But what I wanted you to see here is that Brian Tyler Cohen is actually saying the right has a propaganda machine that's better than ours. And he's like, we need to hone our craft and get a better propaganda machine on our side so that our guys can win next time, because by golly, I want an invitation to the White House. I want to rub shoulders with and do an interview with the President of the United States. I want to ride on Air Force One and Marine One. Oh gosh, I just want all this prestige so that when I get older, I can tell my grandchildren that I lost my freaking soul and I gave everything away so that I could propagandize the masses, and to doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result, and no result will ever come when you stay in the propaganda machine. Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought, please. I really want to get this video out. So please help. If what I said resonates with you and you find it to be true, please subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon. Please share this video. Please like this video. That's how we overcome the algorithm. And then engage with the video by leaving comments. That's the only way this little dinky channel is going to ever hope to get 1 million views a month, let alone 159 million views. If you want to support the channel further, the links are in the description. Grab a shirt, become a channel member. But more importantly, hang on to your integrity. Never walk away from principle. Don't sell your soul because the masses are going this particular direction. Historically speaking, the masses are virtually always wrong. I will see you in the next video.